England are going to win the World Cup. All we have to do is win 5 matches in a row. And then we will have done it. Right, let's get rid of the photographers, because I can't do with the flashes. Can't talk. So it's lovely to be back. And it's lovely to see you all, and thank you again for another wonderful turnout. Fantastic turnout. And so I finished the 5th of the Clifton Chronicles. And for those who don't know, I had originally intended to write 5, and there will now be 7. Because Harry is only 51 at the end of book 5. Emma's only 49. And Giles is only 51, and the wicked Virginia is only 39, so I couldn't kill them all off at the end of one book. So you're getting 2 more books. There'll be 7 Clifton Chronicles, and this one is, of course, the 5th. And I'm going to ask you a question, and you're all going to pay attention and answer it seriously. Are you ready for a serious question? Yes. How many of you have thought about writing a book? How many of you have written a book? Very good. Very good, very good. And how many how many have had your book published? Wow. Wow, very good. Well done. Well done. Well done. The facts are very frightening. For every 1,000 books that are written, only 1 is published. For every 1,000 that are published, only 1 gets onto the bestsellers list. For every 1,000 that get onto the bestsellers list, only 1 makes it to number 1. It's very, very tough, but that shouldn't stop you writing if you want to, because I am not a writer. I am a storyteller. I tell a tale. I want you to turn the page. And you in India have a great tradition of this, because one of my heroes is R.K. Narayan. I think Magoldi Days is a work of genius, and he should have been given the Nobel Prize to prove it. So I came to writing by mistake. I'd always wanted to be a politician. But I left Parliament at the age of 34 and wrote Not a Penny More, Not a Penny. Thank you, madam, very much indeed. Thank you. Should we try that again? I wrote Not a Penny More. And it sold, hold your breath, it got published and it sold 3,000 copies. I keep reading it was one of the world's great bestsellers. It sold 3,000, and then it came out in paperback, and it sold 25,000 in a month. So no, I rang up the publishers and I said, it sold 25,000 in a month, are you going to publish another 25,000? No, they said, no, it doesn't work like that. You write another book and we'll build you up. No, I said, you sold 25,000, sell another 20. No, they said. Yes, I said. No, they said. Yes, I said. And they published another 25,000, and they sold them in a month. So I said, are you going to publish another 25,000? No, they said. Yes, I said. No, they. Yes, I. And they published another 25,000. Last month I rang them up, and I said, are you going to publish another 25,000? That's 17,775,000, and I still have to ring them every single month. But the breakthrough came with a book called Cain. The breakthrough came with a book called Cain and Abel, which the Americans, we decided we'd auction it. And I was very young at the time, and I didn't know what that meant. It meant that the big houses in America would read the book, and then a week later they would decide what to pay for it. And they bid for it, and they got the final bid was 3,200,000 in 1970s. So my life changed overnight, literally overnight. But they rang me up and said, we've got a problem, Jeffrey. Nobody in the United States has ever heard of you. So we've got to get you on television. We've got to get you on a breakfast show so that millions of people can see you, and then they'll go and buy Cain and Abel. Fine. They said the other problem is that it's quite difficult to get novelists onto television because they don't like novelists. They're much happier with non-fiction. If you'd written a book on how to cure cancer, we'd have you on tomorrow morning. If you'd written a book on a better sex life, you'll be on tomorrow morning. If you've written a book on how to lose 14 pounds in 14 days, we'll have you on tomorrow morning. Still, they battled away, and they rang up with 2 weeks to go and said, you're on. We've got you on Good Morning America with Dave Hartman. But you're only on for 6 minutes between 7:22 and 7:28. And you're sharing it with 2 other people. The first person on will be Billy Carter, the brother of the President of the United States, and he will be promoting Billy's beer. Second on will be Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse is celebrating 75 years of Walt Disney. And then you go on, and you've got 2 minutes. And because nobody's ever heard of you, you've got to say the words Cain and Abel as often as you can in 2 minutes. Got it, I said. And they said, we're going to make you as big as we can. We're going to fly you over on this new aeroplane called Concorde. We're going to have a stretch limousine pick you up. We're going to take you to the Plaza Hotel where you'll be in the presidential suite. Everybody will know you've arrived. So I came over on Concorde. The stretch limousine was there. I stayed at the Plaza. I didn't sleep that night. I put on my best suit, white shirt, tie my wife had chosen. I was ready. Was taken down to CBS Studios. I was put into the green room, and there was Billy Carter, and there was Mickey Mouse. At 7:22, up went Billy Carter, and I have to tell you, he was very good. The problem was he spoke for 2 minutes and 14 seconds. So he stole 14 seconds of my time. Up went Mickey Mouse. Now I have to tell you, Mickey is a pro. Mickey taught me something in television that I now remember the rest of my life. If you know the interviewer is asking you the last question, you go on talking. And Mickey did 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Oh. So up I go. I am shaking. I sit down in front of Mr. Hartman. The green light goes off, the red light comes on, the camera comes in, and I look at Cain and Abel. And it's a beautiful, fresh copy that has clearly never been opened. So I'm very, very nervous. And he looks at me and he said, and he's got my notes in front of him. And he says, "Hi, Jeff." Not a good start. He said, "I hear you came over on the Concorde." I said, "Yes, that's right. This is an amazing aeroplane. It flies twice the height of any aeroplane in the history of man. It flies twice the speed of any aeroplane in the history of man. You can have breakfast in London, and when it lands in New York, you can have breakfast again. It's an achievement of engineering of which any nation on earth would be proud." To which Mr. Harston said, "It's been lovely having you on the show." My publishers were not pleased. Not one mention of Cain and Abel, and they're desperate to get the book into the top 15, because if it gets into the top 15 on the New York Times, they half the price. A $30 book becomes 15, and of course you've got a chance of staying there. Whereas if you don't get into the top 15, after 3 weeks, they send all the books back. So they weren't pleased. Now they said, "We're sending you down to Chicago. We're sending you down to Chicago, and you're going to be on the Milt Schulman radio show." Now, as you know, Milt Schulman, great Nobel Prize winner. This time I've got 6 minutes on my own. So there's a real chance. They kept saying, "Please say Cain and Abel again and again and again, Gifford. There's 11 million people listen to..." Oh, up I go. What I didn't know about the great Milt Schulman is he doesn't like to meet the person he's interviewing. He likes the spontaneity of having never met the person. So up I go. There is the great Milt Schulman sitting in his seat. There is me, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have in the studio with me this evening a legend." I have with me in the studio a man I have wanted to meet all my life. Will you welcome to the studio the conqueror of Everest, Sir Edmund Hillary. To which he said, "But until he comes, 2 weeks I've shot up to 35 on the bestsellers list. I'm not getting in the top 15. No one's giving me a ride home on Concorde. I'm in real trouble as I troop around the country. I finally get to California and the publishers ring me and say, 'This is your last chance, Jeffrey. Don't blow it. Please don't blow it. We got you on the show.' So I go on the show and I sit in front of this grey-haired, dignified man, beautiful suit, very smart, and I think, right, I'm ready. I'm ready this time. I'm ready. He says, 'Ladies and gentlemen, I've just read a book called Cain and Abel. I read it in 2 days, and I'm telling every one of you to get this book tomorrow, because you'll have a weekend you won't forget for the rest of your life.' And no, I didn't even have to speak. The book went to #1 on the New York Times the following Sunday. I flew home on Concorde. And I want to thank Mr. Johnny Carson for changing my whole life. So, you need a bit of luck. And since then, of course, I've written 20 novels and visited your country 11 times, which I always enjoy, otherwise I wouldn't be back here for the 11th time. But at the age of 70, I made a decision. I was going to write these 5 books. I was going to write the Clifton Chronicles, and now you've got the 5th. And now I have to live to 77 to make sure I can do the other 2. And after that, I plan to write, because so many of you have asked, I plan to write another set of short stories, which will follow the Clifton Chronicles, and then a novel I've wanted to write for the last 5 years. So I've now got to live to 80. But the point of it is, it's good to have a reason to go on and on, because gone are the days when you can retire and rest at 60, 65. A lot of you youngsters will live to 100. Yes, you will. You'll live to 100. And the world has changed. Now, I just want to tell you one short story before I take questions. So have your questions ready, because it's from the questions that I learn what you want to know. I want to tell you about my trip in from Mumbai airport into Mumbai. I am traveling in the car at the usual 3 miles an hour, which is about 1 mile an hour more than you can do in this city. By the way, while I'm on that subject, I would like someone intelligent in this audience, someone clever who understands the Indian people, to tell me who is it that teaches young people that when they're on the road driving, the aim in life is to get the white line to come down the middle of the car. You are the only nation on earth who tries to get the middle white line to go down the middle of the car. I don't know anybody else who does that. I also don't know any other nation on earth where the rickshaws, or the smallest thing, are on the fast lane with the lorries. And my car seems to be dodging in and out of them to try and get above 30 miles an hour. I haven't given up. I have written to your Prime Minister and offered my position, my authority, my challenge, my age, and said I am willing to be the Minister of Transport. You're quite right. So I was going to tell you, in comes the car, and we're stuck in one of these perpetual traffic jams. It's not a light. It's an old woman crossing the road in the middle of a highway. So while I'm waiting, a little boy comes up. He's got a pipe, and he knocks on my window, and I wind it down, and he says, "Would you like the latest Jeffrey Archer?" I said, "I am the latest Jeffrey Archer." Right, I'm going to take your questions now. You will tell me your name, and because I'm going slightly deaf, and some of you speak in an accent I can't always understand, so please be as clear as you can with your questions, and I will attempt to answer them.